Law and Disorder, the podcast that gets real with addiction, recovery, and everything in between. Here, the 360 degrees with your hosts, Tim, Disorder, and Joe, Law, with guest speakers specializing in every field related to why you just tuned in. Welcome to Law and Disorder. And remember, recovery is possible. Tim and Joe, it's all yours. Today's topic is going to be,
as everybody files in, how's everybody doing on this Friday? Not that we know what day it is anymore.
Yeah, right. It's so weird.
We're waiting for our guest to pipe in. He's from California, I believe. Travels a lot, so who knows?
He's an American, though.
Yes. Pretty funny dude.
Pretty funny American.
Pretty funny American. Hit those share buttons.
Can't tag on this phone. I don't know why.
Yeah, mine does the same thing. You have to go under my post, and then you can tag.
Under your personal page, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. It's an early one this time.
Very early.
If you're here, say hi. Hit those share buttons. Tag some peeps. Let's get them in here. Our guest today is scheduled for 11 o'clock, so as we wait for him to jump in and join us, we can hit those share buttons. Lori's here. Jerry. Hey, Jerry. Working alone in the office. Hey, Deborah. Sorry about that yesterday.
Sorry, Deborah.
There's Mom, Dad, Earl, Sue. Hey, Sue. We're from Michigan, too. Hey, John, Joshua, John. I'm two first names. I like that.
I like it, too. I only have one first name.
Astrid, hello. Let's get those share buttons. Yep. I am checking. Right. Hey, Linda. Those share buttons, let's get it out there as we wait for Mark to pipe in. Boo-boo. Before we get started, everybody wash their hands. You wash your hands too? No?
I always wash my hands. I
Yeah.
even make it through the whole alphabet now too. Ever since my incident earlier this week.
Yeah.
You wash your hands?
I sure did. I washed them thoroughly.
You say so.
Yesterday.
Probably hardly gone anywhere since though.
Right. All right. That was pretty wild yesterday with the fridge.
Yeah, we made a lot of money for a good cause. Wait, no, we didn't sell a fridge, did we?
No.
People did try to buy a fridge.
They tried to buy one from us.
Yeah.
I was thinking about getting all my old appliances and roll them up here. And anybody got any appliances for sale?
Broken toaster.
We had some people interested.
First model microwave.
Yeah. And we are waiting. Hey, Sue. Good morning. Megan. Hey, Megan. How's it going?
Hi, Megan.
Waiting for a guy. Let's hear a song. Washing my hands. How about we do Alexa repeat? We can do a little background music while we're jamming.
Law and Disorder, the podcast that gets real with addiction, recovery, and everything in between. Here, the 360 degrees with your hosts, Tim, Disorder, and Joe, Law, with guest speakers specializing in every field related to why you just tuned in. Welcome to Law and Disorder. And remember, recovery is possible. Tim and Joe, it's all
Megan,
yours.
we're both tired. We're not used to these early shows.
Yeah, this is early.
Deb, we got coffee, Deb. We got lots of coffee.
Actually, this whole this crisis is making me get out
Today's
of
topic is going to be prescription.
the morning routine. Normally, I'm always well up and awake,
Yeah.
but it's starting to jack my schedule up a little bit.
There's Lori, Ashley, Katrina. How you ladies doing today? Tim and I are still trying to figure it out. It's a little early for us. Hi, Peggy. Peggy's here.
Hi, Peggy. Hi, Lori. Hi, Katrina.
While we're waiting for our guests to log in here, how many people know someone who was exposed or came down with COVID-19? I know one.
Yeah. Where'd you meet him?
At work. Yeah. I think as they're testing more, obviously we're getting more.
Right.
And we'll never really know the true statistics or whatnot, but
No, I read you have to be prescribed the test, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm used to sleeping in. No, 5 o'clock is my wake up time. 5 a.m. every morning. If you can believe that or not.
Is this Folgers in the cup, Joe?
No, it's not Folgers.
What is it?
That is Starbucks.
Starbucks in our cup.
Fresh ground beans. All right, we got Mark here.
All right.
Let's add Mark into
Yeah.
the. Hey, Mark, how's it going, bud?
You know what? So far, so good. First cup of coffee. So, you know how.
Yeah. Hey, we're right there with you, bro.
Hey, Mark, how are you?
Yep.
I'm good. Thank you.
So I'm gonna adjust my camera here because we're getting a little. There we go. All right. All right. So you guys aren't gonna see me too much anyway. All right, we're just getting started. We're tagging people and getting it out there, Mark.
Okay. And who's coming?
We have that podcast going, and since this whole epidemic started here, we've been switching to Facebook Live to get the message out there about recovery. We kind of filled them in a little bit about you. Told them you travel and do a lot of shows.
Okay. And what are we? Remind me. Is this a podcast that you're?
Yep.
It's interactive. It's not a meeting or anything like that, right?
Right. We're interacting. We can, as they have questions for you, we'll read them to you.
Okay.
But other than that, just do your thing, man. The message
Are
that we're
these
trying
Facebook friends of yours or podcast followers?
to, both.
Okay.
Both. Yep. A lot of
These are all
followers.
citizens, and this isn't for like a workplace or business or inmates at a prison.
Nope.
This is all okay.
Yep.
This is all us.
It's just us.
It's all us. Excuse me.
I got you.
We didn't make anybody show up. They all showed up on their own. So.
Those okay. And what's the? Is there a topic or is there
just recovery? That's our message. Is recovery is possible.
All right, right on. And is there what's the language? PG, Disney, R. What do you usually do?
We usually keep it down the middle of the road.
Okay, fair enough.
But
I
yeah,
just-
you
I
do
just
what you
wanna know.
do. You do what you do.
No, it's okay. Anything is fine. I just want to
All
know
right.
what you like.
All right. So hit those share buttons. Get it out there, guys. Hey, Georgia. Georgia's in. All right. I think I'm going to move over there.
What city are you guys in?
We're in Lapeer, Michigan.
Okay.
Yep.
How's the deal up there?
Same as everywhere else. Everybody's pretty much on lockdown. Essential only.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. What that's a relative term, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of those topics, man.
I'm on my way to a treatment center today. I'm working with adolescents.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, Tim here.
Well-
he used to work with adolescents too. So
Is that a home studio or is that a
yeah. This is a home studio.
cool? Looks good.
Thanks. Yeah, it kind of took off on us. We just started doing little podcasts as a spin-off from one of the local groups that we are part of. And the newspaper got a hold of us, then TV got a hold of us. So, yeah, we were kind of launched into this. So we had to hurry up and make some adjustments.
Good. Well, looks like
So-
you guys did it.
Yeah, we tried.
You were going to say somebody worked with adolescents there? I kind of cut you off.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's okay. Joe was mentioning that I worked at a group home for kids for a long time, but I haven't had I hope one day to work with younger people who are struggling with addiction and recovery. Have not had the privilege to do that yet, but it's in my bucket list.
Yeah, it's good. It's good work. It'll be a good day today. I like. It took me a few years to learn how to talk to them. They're
Yeah.
whole different.
Oops.
How is it different?
What's that?
Yeah.
How is it different?
It's different by the adolescents are. They're a lot more defiant, careful. They're like if I work with the yesterday I was at a rehab in California, for adults. I had 51 patients yesterday for 7 hours. And we do trauma survivor and relapse prevention and either 12-step or no-step friendly. Doesn't matter to me. I speak all kinds of languages when it comes to the paths to, a different process. I'm a 12-step guy, but I don't pimp for the program. But the adolescents, it's like two different wounded animals. The adults are like working with an old scarred up tiger, The adolescents are like working with a cub who just got their neck cut. It's really different. The younger ones they're fresh out of the jungle, cut up, chewed up, wandering around lost. The adults have all their defenses in place. And the young ones just have one. They're going to come at you with their teeth. That's all they do.
That makes sense.
Yep.
That's the drug. That's the drug and alcohol. The wounded young ones. So it's a totally different language. If I was going to do the analogy of a zoo, in the adult population, they all know which cage they belong in. They all kind of stay to themselves. When they mix, they kind of just mull around, and every once in a while, somebody will kick up dust in the adult population.
Sure.
In an adolescent rehab, all the cages are open. They don't know where to go back to, and they're all out there mixing it up. It gets really the zookeeper has to have a couple of whips and a chair and some food and a carrot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really different today. But I enjoy all the levels of the work I do. But the adolescents it's the hardest population I work with. Inmates at San Quentin are easier. A room full of professionals where they've got PhDs and MSWs and KDAC and professional letters up the wazoo. They're easier than the adolescents.
Is that whole San Quentin thing legit? Have you really been there?
San Quentin?
Yeah.
Probably 30 times.
No kidding. That's awesome.
Yeah, I go there at least once a year now. It used to be, I probably did, since 1988, I've been there it's at least 30 times.
Oh, wow.
And I do it once a year now, but I used to do every, like 6 months or so, I would go in there with NA. But then I started going in there by myself because they have a program. San Quentin was the first prison in the United States to do they train lifers. They have like a bunch of tiers, levels of. They got death row. They've got lifers. They've got life with possibility. They've got all those levels. But the lifers, the ones who are never getting out, they can take a KDAC class in California to become counselors. And every year they have a graduation for the lifers who become a licensed California drug and alcohol counselor to help other inmates. So every year in September they have a graduation. I do that one every year too.
Nice.
There's a lot of prisons have that now.
Nice.
But, Q was the first.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know when you
I mean, they're not doing anything else. What the hell?
Right. Yeah, when you came to our place,
license plates.
Yeah, when you came to our place, man, they loved you. They talked about that for weeks.
Thanks. That was that's always some of my favorite work. I enjoy the penitentiaries and the county and stuff because I was locked up and locked down a lot of times, and I deserved every minute of it. I did. However, it doesn't mean that I was done in either direction. When I was locked up the last time, necessarily, it didn't mean I was done using. It doesn't mean I was done being used either. When I say being used, I mean by the universe. In a healthy way.
Right.
Locked up don't mean done. And a lot of guys get out and they're not done. And a lot of guys get out and we're not done.
Right.
So when I go back, that's a simple language to speak, and it's a fun show to do because, I mean, whatever you do for a living, the more you do it, the more you realize you don't like it, or the more you realize you're supposed to be doing it. That's been my experience. So if the more you realize you're supposed to be doing it, you get better at it.
Oh,
or
absolutely.
you quit doing it and do something else, or you do it and you don't get better at it, and it's really miserable. I've had jobs like that.
Right.
This isn't.
Oh yeah, I think we all have.
Yeah. So I appreciate you saying that, but I really enjoyed them too, because most people, I forget the name of the place that I was at for you. What was it?
Lapeer County Jail.
Yeah. And they were, they were treated exceptionally well. I remember that. And I remember that they were a willing population, but that's a day-to-day thing in jail too. You know,
Right.
I mean, I was a crafty creature back in the day. I could make it look like I was okay or make it look like I was willing. And if you let up on the pedal, I'd just take the wheel from you and drive the car over you and your whole family. I was a wicked cripple.
Yeah.
But these days it's so much easier now to. I still speak that language. I was telling the group yesterday. Somebody asked me, so I've been clean a long time, and that's a relative term, but a long time is years and years and years of being clean. Clean don't mean cured.
Right.
And sober doesn't mean sane. So I was telling them yesterday, I still got a manageable level of cuckoo that I speak. And to be frank, that's so I can talk to you. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not a talking down to, but if I'm gonna talk to a bunch of adolescents today, if I don't speak to some 13-year-old, I can't talk to them. You know, I'm 61. I'm Uncle Shitty. I'm old Grandpa Dad to some of those.
Right.
Guys. So if I don't go down and speak a 13-year-old language, if I don't speak insecure male, frantic, chewing on your nails, female, afraid to speak up in class, if I don't speak that language, they can't get any traction to talk to the older, more mature, good dad, semi-healthy male, respect female person that's in the room with them. They can't come up if I don't go down and get them.
Right. So
language-wise, yeah.
Yeah, we have a question. What's the youngest age group you facilitate?
Let's see. In historically, it's been like preschool. I'll do a little clown show. Like I don't put on makeup and stuff. That's creepy. But well, I wear makeup sometimes, but I can't tell you about that part of my life.
Right. We don't want to know.
Yes, you do. No, but to be fair, on a regular basis, facilitate sounds like it's something I do a lot of. On a regular basis, the youngest is teenagers on a regular basis. But every once in a while, 1, 2, 3 times a year, I'll talk to a kindergarten class. I'll talk to a preschool class. I'll talk to a very early elementary school about chances and choices. It's a very Disney G-rated presentation about oops and what homework looks like, what consequences are, what choices we have, emotional growth, a safe respect, self-respect, that kind of stuff. So I work with all populations. I have that material, but on a regular basis, it's usually adolescents.
Right.
That's a consistent thing. But I got something in my pocket for the lollipop crowd, when it comes to what do we do when we're scared, or what do good parents do, or what kind of questions, let's see. You want this middle of the road, right? As far as okay, all right. So I'll clean this up. But the person who asked the question, I hope I got to the answer. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I wander around with my thumb in my ear. Did I answer your question?
She's good. Okay. Yeah, you're good. You're good.
All right. I'm only on my first cup of coffee right now, and so that's not an excuse. It's just a state. That's the way the universe works in my house. So Grayson is my 13-year-old. Julie is my ex-wife, his mother, and she and I've been clean 31 years. She's been clean 25 years. We got some time. So we're not uninformed. We're sometimes ill-equipped, and we do our best. But we're a really good team right now. My stance is there's no ex-kids in a divorce ever. So what are you fighting about? Seriously. So they're either consistently cared for or they're collateral damage, and we won't do that to another generation of kids. So we went to the Betty Ford Center children's program when we were getting divorced. Jerry Moe, M-O-E, he's a genius when it comes to child instruction and dysfunctional family survivor stuff. Jerry Moe at the Betty Ford Center, best children's program on the planet. So we were there for a weekend, the three of us, to work out the divorce in the proceedings, and to where, because Grayson was 4, and so we didn't want him to think or know or feel like it was his fault. Parents are divorced. A, there's nothing you could have done. B, it wasn't your fault. So we wanted him square on that. And she and I are clean and sober. We're going to the thing. So the short version is this. On the last day, they put the kid in a circle of parents and other kids, and the child gets to ask their parents or parent. Most of the kids had only one parent. The other one's dead or in jail or outloaded. So the kid gets to ask their parent any question they want, anything. No, unfettered. And it's a scary place for all concerned, because you know how kids are. If a kid asks you why your nose is so friggin' big, you got a big nose. Let's get to it.
Right.
So Grayson, Jerry said to Grayson, "You got a question for your dad?" He goes, "No, not really." Jerry said, "No question." He goes, "No, my dad talks a lot. He talks all the time." And so he didn't really have any questions. Julie started to laugh hard, because one of the reasons we're divorced is I don't shut up. And I learned later on in marriage counseling, afterwards, it was post-marriage counseling, that in a partnership, if one of the people uses up all the words in a conversation, there's none left for the other partner. And I didn't know that. It was very painful to hear that. I talk for a living, but the way I'm living don't mean I got to talk a lot. So when it was Mom's turn, Grayson said, "Mom, when you drank, what happened to you?" Because we dealt with the drinking part of the drug use and all that stuff, because his mom's in recovery, I'm in recovery. So he said, when you drink, what happened to you? And Julie paused, and she started to cry a little bit. She said, "Mom got herself in a lot of trouble with a whole bunch of people." And he said, "Trouble like what?" And she said, "Well, I had to apologize a lot, and I had to leave school, and I had to move." And she was very gentle. That's a 4-year-old answer to that question.
Wow.
So we get back to the hotel, and we put him to bed. She goes, "Good God." She goes, "That was so hard. I'd rather talk to my PO than that kid about this stuff." And I said, "Well, PO speaks the language. How you doing?" She goes, "I'm okay, but I don't know if that was I said, "That was a great answer, I thought." Because there's a 4-year-old answer, there's a 12-year-old answer, and there's like a 21-year-old answer, right? To a kid. Yeah. So she goes, "Well, what would that be?" So here's the joke. 4-year-old answer is, I got in a lot of trouble. The 12-year-old answer is, your mom went to jail. The 21-year-old answer is, your mom slept with a lot of bikers. You know what I mean? There's a lot of ways to answer that question about consequences. Now, I have permission to tell that story, because she slept with a lot of bikers, and when I was doing meth, I probably did too. Who knows? But there's a lot of answers that are leveled up for the maturity of the people you're talking to,
Yeah.
On a podcast like this, I never know who's listening. In an interview with a Miami Herald or the Chicago Tribune or CNN, all of which I've done, I don't know who's listening. But if I want to invite them into some kind of recovery world or maybe healthy direction, whatever you want, the best I can do is try to speak a language that's germane to the conversation, and not, put the lid on whatever.
Right. So here, we have a lot of comments saying, "Go ahead, open up, man. Just be you. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about the middle of the road."
Yeah, that's you. Now here's the joke. Okay, to be fair, thank you for that freedom. But that's usually from the guy or the lady at work that they've already been in trouble. They're going to lose their job. Their stuff's in a box in HR, so they want some company. I appreciate that. That's I'm kind of teasing about that. Open up would mean I know heart, soul, and open up your chest. A lot of times, if I'm talking to or speaking with, I'll say with, because I don't do all the talking. Yesterday, the place in Northern California that I was working, there's 50 plus residents in a residential rehab. They're either let's see, one of the guys was there 3 days. There was a guy who was about to get out. There was a young lady who was leaving the next day. And so there are different levels of care there. There's a different level of experience in residential. But I'll tell them, when you get to treatment, you got a couple of choices, right? You can open up your head to the group, or you can open up your chest to the group. You open up your chest, you get a lot better, faster, quicker, and it's more connected. You open up your head, it's a garbage dump or an alleyway or some kind of dark attic, stored boxed up crap up there. You have to open up your heart and treatment eventually. So if you do that first, some of the head stuff drains out through your chest. And I don't mean to be graphic, but if you sliced somebody's chest wide open, you'd see the pump in there that runs stuff. The computer upstairs here, who knows how long that's been misprogrammed, reprogrammed, broken down, rebooted. It's not as important what you know when you're new as what you feel when you're new. Because a lot of the stuff we don't deal with is in our chest. There's stuff in there, guilt and shame and misinformation about who we are that takes up room in our lungs. And I'm a big believer that lungs are like airbags in a car.
Yeah.
They're for protection. And if you get your lungs working right, they protect you. Oxygen leads to spiritual. It's the only chemical that does. These are opinions. And I'd be happy to take comments or questions about stuff, because I don't know everything. What I know, you could put on the back of a postage stamp. I'm not kidding you. But I do believe that if we open up our chest and start, getting rid of some of the stuff that's taking up room in our lungs, we start to breathe towards spiritual and calm and patient and slow and accepting and forgiving, rather than just I'll empty my skull on you. I'll verbally vomit whatever comes out of my head.
Right.
The head's a scary neighborhood for me. I mean, I got a manageable level. I got a manageable level of cuckoo that I deal with every day. But when you're in treatment, a whole bunch of people will tell you what they know, what they think. Well, frankly, what you know, what you think got you that chair in the treatment center. So I'm pretty sure we're all on the same page there. To be gentle, you were doing something that wasn't working. You want to change that, maybe try listening instead of talking. And when you're invited to speak, keep it brief. Shakespeare said brevity is the soul of wit. Joke in the show. Shakespeare said brevity is the soul of wit. Pretty smart guy, Willie, right? He also said comedy is tragedy plus time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I, as a comedian, I'll tell you, comedy is tragedy plus time. Jay Leno told me a long time ago, he said, write faster than people can steal from you.
Yeah.
What's that?
Makes total sense.
It does. He said, write faster. And I'm not name dropping. It's just historically, you take advice or you listen to people who were there before you. They're down the road before you. They can tell you where the ruts are, where the potholes are, and where the turns are going to be. David Brenner said, take care of your back. It was weird at the time. He said, take care of your back. I said, what do you mean? He goes, you're going to fly a lot, sit a lot, stand a lot, stoop a lot. If you're active take care of your back. Because if your back ain't right, your center is off. And I thought, what the hell is he? I know exactly what he's talking about now.
Yeah.
Seinfeld said, hey, if you have to curse, the joke is not finished. George Carlin said, fuck Seinfeld. So, I mean, everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's got an opinion. So, in the world of recovery or podcast, I mean, that might have been too salty or spicy for somebody listening. I get it, but that's the way it was presented to me, and I don't mind that word. I'm only going to use it that one time. But if I don't use it that one time, that story's not true. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, total sense.
I hope I didn't just shorten our visit.
Nah.
Okay.
No, that's. I love that summary of it. I mean, that just sums it right up. It is what it is.
What language do you want to speak to where? And I'm not trying to rationalize anything here, but I get work for the same reason I don't get work. I have a very thin filter. I have a filter for. If I'm talking to a female population, if I'm talking to 800 women at the Ohio Reformatory for ORW, they call it. It's outside of Cleveland. If I talk to those 800 women. Picture this: you're in the center of the gym, and they're on one side in the bleachers, and there's 800 of them, and you're facing the whole bleacher full of females who are fractured and damaged and treated poorly, and even by themselves. A lot of them. A lot of us, when we get to recovery, we're the primary abuser recent. So that's a whole different language than talking to 1,100 guys with their butts in the dirt outside in September in the yard at San Quentin, because they don't put them in chairs out there. They sit in the dirt on the main yard and in the sun with no cover in September, August and September, California. It was the hottest months of our year. In Michigan, hell, you don't want to go outside because you get wet in 4 steps. Michigan's humid.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Michigan has some of the best, most extreme weather I've ever experienced.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
I can't even tell you. But there's a different language I speak for the different groups out of respect for who's there. If I want to serve them, I have to kind of speak. If you're in France, you want to speak some French.
Right.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah, we have a pretty mixed crowd, so, and I think the ones most people in here are well aware of the language thing.
Yeah, and
yeah.
Sorry, I made a big deal of that. I apologize, but
No, it's good.
now I can't do that joke, that particular story, that line of quotes. If I can't do that when I go to eBay. I live in San Jose, California, so Silicon Valley's like right over there. And I can't do certain references because the limit is we don't want a note to go to HR, and
Right.
which is fine. I get it, but my opinion is that HR stands for human resources, and human, that word is very relative to who's working for you, which is fractured, damaged, or flawed, all that stuff. Graceful, hopeful, helpful. Humans have a lot of adjectives you can stick on somebody's chest, but human means real. It's real important. So I've gotten asked back to like Google or a lot of the tech companies to do like quote unquote motivational stuff, because I'll push some boundaries. I was at a place about 5 years ago, and it's a tech company that's not in business anymore. I hope I had nothing to do with that, but they're not in business anymore. And the HR guy said to me, he goes, and this is about carrying the message. This is about doing a podcast, carrying the message, or a mother out on the playground with a bunch of other kids carrying the message. You walk your talk, otherwise you might as well shut up. And if a supervisor is going to be a good supervisor, they lead by example. If I'm going to be a good speaker, I lead by example. If I'm going to be a good dad, tomorrow I'll pick up my son. Wait, what's today? Friday?
Friday.
Yeah. This afternoon I'll go work with about 14 or 15 adolescents in a treatment center. When I'm done, I'll drive over to my ex's house. I'll pick up my son, because Saturday and Sunday we're hanging out. Monday probably too, but he's got school online. They're doing school online. Saturday and Sunday we're filming. I got a podcast that's going to debut probably when this thing ends. It's going to debut. We've filmed about 100 hours, but we're going to film Saturday and Sunday up in Sacramento, California. And there's some online stuff that people can go to. It'll break out when it's supposed to. I don't want to jinx it. But anyway, we're filming. Grayson's going to be part of that. He's 13. He's got a little 2-3 minute segment on every podcast. It's called Grayson's Corner. He speaks to and for the children, the young. Anyway, I said all that to say this. I went to do the thing for this company, and the HR guy says, "I never heard of you before." I said, "Okay." He goes, "You got to watch your language. I don't want you to offend people. I don't want any stuff from HR on Monday. Just do your job. It's 45 minutes. That's all we're asking. I don't know who hired you, but I'm in charge of this, so don't embarrass the company." And right away I get defensive, like I'm that jail yard guy, or I'm that 12-year-old who you told you can't leave the house. Well, I'm out the window. See ya. You tell me I can't do something, I gotta.
Right.
So my first thought, second thought, third thought, fourth thought, fifth thought, they're all wrong. And I finally said to him, because I had, leading by example, I finally said to him, I said, you might want to work on your attaboy. And he goes, see, that's what I'm talking about. They told me I saw some stuff on YouTube. You're blue. You did it. I don't know why they asked you. Last year, young man, we had Condoleezza Rice. That was our speaker.
Oh.
I said, oh, okay. I said, okay. He goes, Condoleezza Rice.
Nice.
I said, all right, okay. So I do the 45 minutes. He comes back to the dressing room afterwards at this tech place. He goes, they loved you. He goes, you cursed. I said, yeah. I said, and it wasn't the F word. It was a different word, but it works for that particular reference, and it's about the animosity that can happen at work. Where if somebody asks you how you doing, do you really tell them? Somebody asks you how you doing. How much do you tell them? How honest are you?
Right.
How you doing, John? Well, I want to stick a knife in your eye, Bob. How are you? You can't really do that at work.
Right.
You still have a job. So he goes, I don't get it. He goes, we had Condoleezza Rice. He goes, they've already asked you back. They didn't ask her back. I said, well, she's not funny. He goes, no, she wasn't. It was like funny comes to the front door. We're quicker to let that in to a home that we want to be safe than sometimes even smart or impressive as far as like wit. Or wit is a form of humor, but we'll break down a lot of barriers. So I'll be funny today for those kids, but I'll lead by example with you. I won't curse at all in front of the adolescents. I don't, because they speak that language. But I'll talk about hope, and I'll talk about fear, and I'll talk about taking a risk, and I'll talk about why humor raises trust and lowers shame if it's used well. If a hammer's used well, you can build something. It'll also be a great weapon to put a claw in the back of somebody's skull. I've actually heard that sound about 3 feet away. It's a horrible thing, but it's not the hammer's fault ever.
No.
Humor's like that. It's a hammer. And there was a point where, as a kid, all I had was a hammer, and everybody looked like a nail because that's the only tool I had. So I would brutalize people with ha-ha. I'd make them small, or I'd push them back, or I'd slice them across the neck verbally with some kind of arranged words in a certain order that really were hurtful. That's the only kind of way I could use humor, make you feel different. So these days, I'd like to think that doesn't happen. But, yeah.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, like your whole, just in brief, your journey from.
Isn't that what I've been doing? No, I'm kidding.
Well, yeah, right.
That's that little 13-year-old with his thumb in his mouth. So brevity here, Shakespeare said, but I grew up in a family where if you weren't talking or funny or vicious, you were on the other end of that, right? You were the spearhead, or you were the target. It's just the way the family was. We didn't know any different, so we couldn't do any different. Dysfunctional meant it didn't work. Mom and dad were closed off. Dad worked hard, drank hard, cheated hard, and hit hard. Mom hid. She hid in the medicine cabinet. She hid at work. She was a school teacher, but by 3:30, 4:30, 5:30, whenever she came home, she didn't have enough time or energy left to teach her own kids. So I was the oldest of 5, and I kind of, the resentment I'll tell people about is that, not to blame anybody, it just was. I forgave my parents, I forgave myself, I forgave everybody in the loop, because you either forgive what's going on, or you continue what's going on. You forgive or become. Those are just opinions I got now. But we had 5 kids. I was the oldest of 5, and so in the morning I'm making 5 breakfasts. I'm ironing 4 white shirts, and my sister's doing whatever she's got to do to get ready for her school. We went to Catholic school for a minute, so I'm raising kids that I didn't make. There's a slow boil for that really started to fry me up, where I can't tell you how angry I was. I'm raising somebody else's kids, and I'm a kid.
Yeah.
So that in itself, before I started drinking at 5, because it was available, and My dad had a bunch of beer in the fridge. He never missed one because it was stacked in there. So I mean, I don't know how many alcoholics count the cans of beer they got. It was old Coors, cans. I'm older. I was raised in the 60s. So, but he didn't miss anything. If it was empty, which it never was, he would have missed, but he didn't, So I would drink the beer because I knew it soothed something. And quiet as it's kept, when we start doing drugs, they work. Alcohol works. I will never deny the kids that today when I'm talking to them at this place. What you were doing, opiates or bars or K2, Molly, bath salts, whatever they're into, it works. It works. That's why we kept doing it. It worked. And then it quit working and we kept doing it anyway. That's the problem. They're in treatment or they're in rehab or they're in trouble or they're in jail because the dope quit working and they didn't quit doing it. And that's where the trouble comes from. It's a pretty ABC thing. But growing up, I learned to fake false. Even the false I needed was fake. And when I say that, I don't mean to disrupt the pot smokers out there who can't wrap their head around. Pot smokers are funny people to talk to because there's like a delay. You ever done like radio, like broadcast radio, not the podcast, but like
no.
radio. They have a delay button. They have a cough button or a 7-second delay, so that nobody says the F word and it doesn't go out over the air on ABC. Right? Mm-hmm. Every studio has a button that the promo guy or production guy or the producer in the booth, he can push and it skips over that word. Pot smokers have a 7-second delay all day long. They get the joke later. They respond slower. Everybody who smokes pot should wear a T-shirt all day that says, "Wait, what?" So we know who we're talking to, right?
Right.
So I used to fake false. I couldn't even come up with false on a regular basis. I had to fake the false so I could stay in the conversation or stay in the family. Everything I learned growing up in my house, in the family I grew up in my house, everything I learned, the tools I had, they didn't work as soon as I left the house. I didn't know how to really react and be honest or authentic. I didn't know how to have a conversation where I wasn't trying to look good. I didn't know how to, all that stuff propelled me into some kind of a false or ventriloquist type of lifestyle. Like, hey, how you doing? I'm dying on the inside. I can't tell you that. You can't. I couldn't do what I couldn't know how to do. And I run into a lot of people in recovery that had that same kind of dysfunction, whatever the layers were. Like, my dad was a certain guy, and after dark at night, when you were in bed, you knew it was coming.
Right.
Every night, you knew it was coming. I'd rather be at an East Oakland dope alley at 11 years old than at my own house at midnight. It was just outside in the alley with no weapons, pale skin, and not knowing who's at the end of the alley. I was safer than being in my own home. So I wouldn't wish that on a cellmate I hated. But I learned some tools that I can use now, which is, there's inner strength. There's a core there that has to be stable and convinced. And now it's based more on a truthful existence. But I got to adolescence full of dope, no hope, athletic, strong, confident, in a certain direction confident. I knew I could survive a beating. There's a confidence level there. I could give a beating. I'd rather throw a fist than a party. I love to fight. I didn't win them all, but I'll tell you what, anybody who says they won all their fights, they're not telling you the truth. Nobody wins a fight intellectually or emotionally, but I'll tell you what, I'd just rather throw a fist than ask a question at some stage when I was younger. It just doesn't work, the throwing a fist. So I'd rather throw my hands up. I give up, then boom. It's not the fist's fault. It's not the hand's fault. So I said all that to say this, that I learned chemically how to survive. I didn't learn intellectually or spiritually how to do what I was put on this planet to do until way later. I ended up, in and out of relationships, all kinds of those. Sex was a bag of dope with skin on it. It just didn't matter. Use it up, get another one. And be used up too. Let's be fair. A lot of people who say, well, I've slept with a lot of women. That guy got slept with a lot. You know what I mean?
Right.
He was the one. to be fair. And I don't care where you point your privates, indoor plumbing, outdoor plumbing, who turns it on, you know, all flavors. Welcome. I speak a lot of different languages. I speak some rainbow. I speak some hetero. I speak some, I don't know, right? The addiction doesn't care, you know, who it twists in the wrong direction. But I got to a place at 29 years old where I was living on the street and put a gun in my mouth and pulled the trigger. I was October of 1988. The gun jammed, and my first thought was wrong. My first thought was, I suck at everything. How do you? Oh, I'm so disappointed, right? And that same, I remember it was before midnight. That's all I could tell you. I was in some lockdown, $6 an hour motel room. Excuse me, in Northern California, and I crawled out of that motel room just devastated. You know, 120 pounds, shake and bake, looking cook, tweak and peak, thump and bump street guy, who just tried to end their life. I was done. I was all done. There was not one breath of hope left. And then all of a sudden, I realized I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know what to do, but I know I don't want to do that again. So there was that moment of clarity for me. That was one of them. And so I went to a hospital, and there was a psych ward in Oakland where I'd heard about where some kind of street people go when they want to get locked down or locked up or locked in for their own safety. So I crawled in that place. They locked me up for 3 days, and I've been clean ever since. But I had to do some things. I had to do some things they told me, and I'll pass this along to whoever wants it. And if you don't, I'm sure that you have plenty of tools that are working already. But there's two choices every day for me as a recovering person: addict, alcoholic, codependent, whatever you want to call it. AA, NA, GA, no A. You can be a 12-step person. You can be a no-step person. And I speak that language now. 30 plus years later, there's a lot of languages I speak that I didn't have the first 5 or 10 years clean. There's two choices I have every day. I'm going to do what I want, or I'm going to do what I'm told. And what I'm told is better for me personally than the GPS of what I want. What I wanted this morning was to skip this podcast. I swore to Christ. I wanted to stay in bed. The alarm went off, and I went, no. But my first thought, no, too early. I'm tired. My fifth or sixth thought was, okay, put your feet on the floor after you say your prayer and level out, and then get coffee. Because coffee. I don't want to offend anybody.
Coffee's it. Yep.
But some mornings, coffee is my higher power. Shoot me in the head, but that's the truth. I made a decision to turn my will and my life over to the care of coffee. I understand it or not. So, and I'm being facetious, but come on. So, I'm going to do what I want today. I'm going to do what I'm told today. When I say what I'm told, it's not chemically anymore. It's not methamphetamine. You know, when methamphetamine tells you what to do, you do it. But if you're talking about the universe, truth, help, God, safe passage, Mother Nature, wherever you aim your ask is what I'll call it. Some people say prayer and meditation. Some people say ask and listen. Same tomato. Wherever you aim your ask, wherever you point your prayers, if I listen to that, because with prayer comes meditation. I'm going to ask and then I'm going to listen. It's peanut butter and jelly. It's epoxy. They work better when they're together than they do when they're separate. Epoxy doesn't work. Two things separate together. Right. It bonds things. So ask and listen. I hope I didn't overdo that. I felt like I might have.
No.
But if I ask for help, I'm listening for the answer. When I listen for the answer, which is the meditation, which is the receptive, which is the I'm being guided, I'm going to do what I'm told. And what I'm told was get out of bed and keep your commitment to a couple of guys who are really passionate about this podcast. So, excuse me, what do you want to do?
Coffee.
What do you want to do? That's coffee. That's coffee. That used to be like Jack Daniels, but and at what it's what they're 11 something where you are.
Yeah, we're 11:40.
So coming up on 8:40 here on the West Coast, I somebody would say, would you already be drinking at 8:40 in the morning? back in the day, I'd say no. I would still be drinking.
Still.
And so when you start, you'd start what, like at 10 o'clock the night before? No, I started Tuesday, the week before. You know what I mean? The way to avoid a hangover if you're a normal person is you don't get drunk. The way to avoid a hangover if you're an alcoholic is you don't quit.
You don't quit.
Don't stop, slow down, because it'll catch up with you and hurt your head.
Right.
But I'm doing what I'm told today. I'm doing what I'm told. The universe has a fantastic fairness about it that says, if you do what you're told, you're going to thrive. If you do what you want, you might survive, but you're going to pay a price instead of receive a benefit. There's a cost to doing what I do. It's physically demanding. It means that I better walk my talk, because I remember hearing in an AA meeting when I was brand new, I think I was brand new. I think I was still in treatment, and they would white van us over to a meeting after a couple of weeks when you stabled out in treatment. In the 80s, treatment was a night and day difference from today. We'll love you till you can love yourself. That's now. Motivational interview. What do you need? That's now. Back in the 80s, it was shut up. Sit down, shut up. Do what you're told. Here, right, left, get right or get left. It was very, at least militaristic in its sense of, hey, big mouth. You keep talking, you can start walking, because get out of here, right? If you're going to listen, you can stay. If you're going to talk, you can go. PYS, pack your stuff, right? So it was a lot harsher. Sit down, take the cotton out of your ears, stick it in your mouth. Now, if you do what you're told, you're going to survive treatment. If you do what you want, why'd you come to treatment?
Yeah.
In recovery. So I forgot what I was going. Oh yeah. Early on in AA, they said you got to walk your talk. My first thought was, don't talk. Then there's no responsibility to do what you said. So I wouldn't talk. Because the people who talked about recovery, what they did, the way they lived, the changes they'd make, all of a sudden, to me, first thought wrong. That added pressure. Now I've got an expectation. Now the bar is set at a certain level. I have to match that, meet that every day? No. So they'd call on me, or somebody'd say, hey, you want to talk? Nope. Why? Because I didn't want to set any expectations of what you were going to see me not do. So it was a really, I mean, they said, hey, you got to walk your talk. I heard it all backwards.
Right.
Don't talk, your walk don't matter, right? These days, there's a lot more pressure as an adult male who's raising a 13-year-old boy. Manhood, brotherhood, fatherhood, the hood I want him to live in, exist in, thrive in, serve in. I got to do that. He'll say, Dad, what's wrong? Financially, I'm nervous this month, buddy. Or let's see, I get lonesome on the road. I wish work was simpler or easier. I wish I had a grander platform to work from. I wish more people knew my name, kind of thing. I can answer that question all those ways, what's wrong, but that doesn't mean they're wrong. So I got to rethink that too. So what's wrong? I'll say, I just don't feel good right now. Yeah, are you sick? Well, every day, yeah, to a certain level. I got a manageable level of cuckoo. But how do you answer that question truthfully? When your kid says, what's wrong? So I want him to know what it looks like for an adult to be able to say, I'm scared, or I'm nervous, which is a manageable level of fear, or I'm irritated, which is a manageable level of anger, or I'm joyful, which is a manageable level of grateful. So how do you answer a question so I don't do it quickly? You know what I mean? I wandered off there. The train got on a whole bunch of different tracks. I do that sometimes. ADHD. I don't even know what they mean anymore, those letters. So.
Yeah, so that's awesome. Well, we appreciate you getting up, even though you didn't want to originally.
Yeah, no, and that's first thought. I mean, listen, first thought wrong. I make a living doing that. I not just the saying. I got sayings that people put on T-shirts. I don't mind telling you that I'm not hard to find in social media, and there's a lot of stuff that I put into a certain context, wording wise, that people are happy to repeat. Right? First thought wrong. I'm not judging I'm just saying. I wrote those things, and because they worked as a recovering person to level me out. And first thought wrong is a big deal because it never goes away. The disease is incurable. It's chronic, right? It's treatable every single day. Some of us know that a bunch of days in a row. But first thought wrong, that's the problem. I got a brain stain. It doesn't unstain itself. I just have to wipe it down, clean it up, and make sure that I'm not following that first thought. First thought wrong. I can have a beer at a ball game, right? No big deal.
Yeah.
First thought wrong. I wasn't really a weed guy. So weed is legal. It's available, personal use. I can actually grow it if I want to use a certain amount. First thought wrong. If she doesn't find out, hey, it wasn't cheating, was it? Right? First thought wrong. Get out of bed. I don't want to do what I'm told you I'm supposed to do. I'm not punished for that. God's never punished me. I've never done prison time for a thought. It's what happens next. It's what doesn't happen next. It's the action I take or don't take. First thought wrong is addiction. That's it. Plain and simple. Keep it super simple. First thought wrong. I'm not an addict. I can prove it because I took a day off yesterday from music. Now I'll go back to doing what I was doing. First thought wrong. I can handle jail. You know what I mean? So, what's your first thought? You guys had one today? Did you have a first thought wrong today?
First thought wrong. Yeah. I'm going to let the wife make her own coffee.
That's fine until tonight when you want to go to bed.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in recovery too, Mark. So it's like every thought wrong for me.
Oh, you don't get to a healthy one?
No, they're all just wrong. I asked Joe what I should do.
Oh, Joe's your higher power? That's cool. Is that
Yeah.
made a
Hey, I got
my will in my life over to care of Joe. I love that.
right.
Why didn't you tell me sooner? I wouldn't have worked so hard to find a God.
Right?
Get your dog and Joe all to yourself there.
Yeah.
That's an addict, Tim.
Exactly right.
That's what addicts do. Hide the bag from the other addict.
Yeah, right.
I first thought wrong is that notion has saved me more times. Just go back to the kid thing. My son asked me, Dad, what's wrong? First thought is just tell him it's fine. First thought wrong. None of your business. First thought wrong. I'm okay. How are you? Deflect. How many thoughts in a row are not the right answer there? Well, sometimes it's a whole bunch.
Right.
You know, I got to wander down a whole bunch of the highway to get to an exit that's safe, which is just tell them the truth. And tell them the truth, that might be the 15th thought in 4 seconds. You know, it might be the 50th in 2 seconds. You ever notice how quick you think? So
Goes quick.
For the responsible parties out there who are listening, who hung in there with all the words, I'm grateful for that. If when it comes to thinking, if I slow down, the truth shows up. If I speed up, I fall down. Fast is fatal if you have first thought wrong. You know, and I work at that, slowing down. If I ask my son, how was school today? It goes like this. I hope this isn't too irritating to you, but I swear to you, it goes like this. Grayson, how was school today? I don't speak again until he talks.
Yeah.
I just don't. How was school today? Did you do math? How was it online? Who's your teacher for that? 4 questions all of a sudden. He didn't answer the first one. That's cruel to a kid. Now you got to speed up. You got to have the right answer. You got to do it fast. I mean, I don't know where that's fair, but it ain't at my house. So I'll ask him questions. When he speaks, the conversation continues. I don't talk again. You know how many years it took me to train myself to say, ask a question and then listen? Good God. I mean, I'm embarrassed to tell you. And I still don't do it all the time. I say that, but I still don't do it. I'll say, hey, buddy, how you doing? You okay? Now, it's 2 questions. He didn't even get to the first one yet. Yeah. So it's irritating because now he knows, and this is the part where I got to show up. Now he knows that when I ask him a question, he gets to answer without me talking. So sometimes he takes a long time. I'll say, how was school? 2001, 2002, 2003. I don't count anymore, but he'll go, and he'll actually consider his answer. That little prick. I go, in my head, first thought wrong. Jesus Christ, kid, come on. Or it's not a hard question. Or he'll go, well, Dad, school can be hard at times, or I don't like this teacher. It took 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds to answer. I don't have 8 seconds for a 12-year-old. Yeah, I do. I just don't feel or think I do. It's like,
Right.
come on, man, that's not hard. Well, that's my stuff. Julie, my ex-wife, Grayson's mom, she says to me a lot. She goes, so what's up? And I go, God, man, I got to complain, or I got to. She goes, well, when it comes to him, now we're talking about our kid. When it comes to him, she goes, you know, it's always you, right? I go, what? She goes, you know, the irritation, it's always you. I go, all right, what? Let me have it. She goes, well, he's 12 or he's 4 or he's 13. What's your excuse? You know, and I think first thought wrong. Why did I ever sleep with you? Why did we make a kid? Why couldn't you have said no that weekend? You know what I mean? But it's being held accountable for something that I taught him how to do. I taught him how to receive the words, consider his response, and maybe go through a few thoughts to get to one that's most accurate. Let's just do this. Are we on the cusp? Are we almost out of time?
Yeah, we're getting there. We got a couple minutes.
Did you guys try to
Go
cut
ahead.
me off a few minutes ago and I didn't notice?
No,
Oh, okay. All right.
Tim's just nodding off.
Ready. What's that?
I said Tim was nodding off, but I kicked him.
Yeah,
I'm just
well,
kidding.
that heroine is a wicked mother.
Right. Yeah, she certainly is.
So let me do this. For anybody who's listening, right? You can do this. Think about the answers and then tell me what your 5th thought is. Let's just go 5. We call it a thumb thought in group. Share your thumb thought. That's the 5th one. Start on your little finger. Count the thoughts, okay? Tim, Joe, Mark, anybody listening, share your 5th thought, right? But go through them in order and slow down, please. What are you afraid of?
I'm going.
Take your time.
Right now, just everybody's health.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Do you remember the first 4?
I remember the first 2.
Fair enough. And sometimes sometimes there's a thought that comes in here like, let's see. First one, spiders. Second is dust. I'm allergic to dust. Third, money right now is tight. 4th, why am I doing this? 5th, the consideration of I'm not going to do a good job today at work. Right? Where'd you go, Tim?
Well, my 5th was I want to see my kid, because normally I would see him every Friday, and I won't have him this weekend.
Okay.
But well, all the others I'm a little hesitant to share. At least a couple of them, to be honest.
Yeah, fair enough. But they get. Did you notice? Did you notice that as you were going along, they got consistently more accurate? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they're consistently more like relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
and if we take more time, we get to a deeper truth. That's just been my experience. And if you did that, if you really, if you did your 10th thought, it might go back to frivolous. It might go, but if we slow down, the truth shows up. If we speed up, we kind of like somebody say so. And that was a great question, Joe. You asked. You mean right now?
yeah.
Because 8 minutes from now, that fear might be at a different level, different angle, different kind of location. What are you afraid of? I'm not going to make this light on the way to work. What are you afraid of? She's going to find out that I'm a fraud and we're going to stop dating. I'm not talking about me right now. I don't date right now. 3 years. I don't date. You know why? I don't choose healthy. I swear to you, I choose whack job, borderline personality. Nothing wrong with those. I swear to you. But consistently, I choose somebody I got to rescue. And younger than me. You know, I'm 61, right? And so not off on a tangent here, but first thought wrong. Younger is sexier. Younger is more attractive. Younger is maybe maturity level. I'm probably about 30 years old emotionally as an adult. Really, I'm probably half my age emotionally. I'm not very mature.
Right.
So younger is more on the even plane with me. You know, like that. But I got a rule. If I ever date again, the dating pool, she has to be old enough to remember when Cher had a Sonny. Now, if you don't get that joke, don't bother.
Then I'm too young to date you.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. But if we slow down with the fear thing, or hey, what are you mad at? Let's do that. What are you angry about right now? Give me your fifth thought. Give me your thumb thought. What are you angry about right now?
Go ahead, Tim.
Oh, I got the 3.
You only got the 3.
We got time.
You know what? Oh, man. All right. Drug court.
Okay. Were there thoughts before that? Were there answers before that?
Yeah, I'm pissed off about everything right now. I don't have a car. I don't have a job. Well, I do have a job, but because of COVID, like everybody else, right? So, like, right. I feel like I was weathering the storm, and then the last couple of days, man.
And if we waited, if you made a list, if you actually wrote down, what are you angry about? And you put 25 things on there. A, they can all be true to a degree. B, you're gonna get more accurate as you go. So if we slow down, the truth literally shows up. Meaning, in the addiction process, how fast did trouble find you? Pretty quick.
Pretty quick.
When was the last time something happened to you quickly that was any good? If you're an addict or a criminal or a drunk or a codependent, let's just fix it real fast.
Right.
Let's fix it right now. I'm hurrying up the process. If you're in a treatment center like you right now, Tim, we're doing this podcast, and Joe's doing the podcast, and Mark and a bunch of people are involved in this. If we slowed down, we would consider, filter, strain the stuff that drains out of your brain and into your mouth. That's a quick drip from brain to lip. It's only about 4 or 5 inches.
Right.
Stuff spills out. But tell me about drug court. Why are you pissed?
Because I've been in it.
Really honest.
What's that?
That sounded really honest.
Oh, just because I've been in it for a minute, right? Like, I just want to move on. Like, I want to go back to school. I want to do different things, and it's a very time-consuming. It's kind of a grind, Like, they require quite a bit of you. So I just feel ready to move on.
So, real quick story, and I got to go here too in a little bit. I gave myself an hour, and you guys have been very tolerant of me.
Thank you, Mark.
Well, you're welcome. Thanks for asking me. It's an honor. I'm not kidding. But when you said it takes a lot of time and it's a process, and I want to get back to, you said job and relationship. I get it. Drug court is a magic thing. It's not a quick thing, not when it's working. But here's the deal. And Joe and Mark and Tim and anybody else who's listening, I'm a senior in high school. We're in championship Northern State California tournament basketball, right? And there's probably I won't get the numbers exactly right because it's kind of fuzzy, but I know there's about 25 seconds left in the game, and we're up by 1 point. And the coach calls a timeout, and I'm a decent basketball player at this point. We're doing pretty well. We're up by 1. It's champs, right? And I look over at the clock. He goes, "Hey, listen, I was a point guard, right?" And he goes, "Hey, focus up here." I look at him and go, "Yeah." He goes, "What are you thinking about right now?" I said, "I just want it to end." He looks at me and he goes, "Why would you wish away part of your life?" It's crazy.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Something happens if we wait.
Yeah.
Something happens if we wait. We don't know.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. And I didn't want to put myself through it, so I'm not going to benefit from it. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. I know, and I increasingly
we lost the game. Anyway, no, I'm kidding. that was the comedian in me trying to stuff a feeling there. But yeah. I can't tell you how many times what I wanted was not what I was willing to wait for. You know what I mean? I want to speed up. I want to get there now. I'm a fast, quick, Viper strike, boom. Yeah. But all that stuff really got me in a load of trouble. You guys, I hope you get to see your kids sooner than later, Tim. That's a big deal.
Oh, thank you. No, I will. I will soon. It's just
How old's your kid?
He's 13, or he will be in May. And I normally have him every weekend. It's just with all the sickness going on, our things are getting changed up on the fly.
Yeah, it's a big deal. He's it's you got kids, Joe?
Oh yeah, they're 27 and 22.
Oh, at that point you don't. Okay, at that point you don't care anymore. Never mind.
No. He tells me that. He said he doesn't care.
No, at this point they've outgrown you. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I'm teasing. I got a 31-year-old daughter, and every once in a while she'll say, Dad, you weren't there to raise me, but I'm glad you're here now. And my first thought is, okay, I gotta go. Right? Well, I hope you guys have a phenomenal weekend, and thanks for including me in this. I continued success. I hope you get a billion listeners.
Thanks, Mark. You
Thanks,
too.
Mark. And we're going to drop your links in our comments so people know where to find you.
Okay, I'm really not. They can Google Mark L. comedian, and just there's pages and stuff on there that
Yep.
I would be arrogant to tell you about. So, love you guys. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Mark.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
See ya.
Take care.
You too.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. I hope you all enjoyed that. Mark's a funny dude. He kind of held back on the comedy a little bit, but I think his message was pretty strong.
Yeah, just a real message.
Yeah, definitely a real message. So I don't think it gets any realer than that. And yeah, he can adjust his approach, which is a gift that he's kind of gained along the way. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we'll drop his links in the comments. Look him up. He's all over the place. Been on Showtime, 41 states, 5 countries, CNN, Fox. He's been everywhere.
More to follow, I'm sure.
Yep. So, all right. Thanks, guys. Take care. Wash your hands.